things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Stevenson Law Firm and the Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers talk and text line 460-187D or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Here's Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning, Doug Sunseri. Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Just call 260-1870 or text us at 260-1870. Good morning, Albert. 31 degrees. I was telling Coleman I had actually 15 minutes ago I was in my pool cold plunging, so it was a extra cold plunge today. Oh, I do that every morning. Yeah, absolutely. It is. I'm crazy, but it gets the blood circulating. Oh, I do my little run and I jump in the pool, and well, that's not for me to say. Seinfeld reference. Yeah, so it's beautiful. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful day here, and actually, if it's not windy, it's not too bad. It's the wind. It was sort of a dry. It's more of a dry cold today, so it wasn't bad this morning, and but it is beautiful. So. It was a wedding. Was it a wedding?
It's on, Dana.
Well, good. So it's one of your nephews, or for the wedding. Your daughters. Okay. Oh, all right. When's that happening? Oh, that's why you work in such long. That's why you work in such long hours. I was wondering. Oh, that's it. Well, you only. Are y'all getting a second line? Are you getting a second line, Ben? Right. Longer. Well, I will tell you about New Orleans weddings. I had several friends from LSU who had kids who moved out of state. And, unfortunately, because we had the brain drain in Louisiana for the last 30 years, so they live but they want to come back here and get married. So a lot of the wedding party is from out of town. And, when and they'll have the wedding in the French Quarter, second line through the French Quarter, and then have the whole wedding, the whole experience. I've had them say this is the best experience they've ever been through. Just being in New Orleans and it's a total blowout. It's a total blowout. And that's one of the things. I mean, we're talking a little bit about this last week as far as what the culture has to, New Orleans culture has to would provides to visitors and people who live here. But they would that experience for them was just beyond anything they have ever experienced. And I know when I was in college, we grew up in New Orleans, and see, even when we were younger, the weddings were like you were saying, they were big, and they weren't that sort of a blowout. Now I guess they were more of a blowout now, but I remember going to Pineville, Louisiana, on a Saturday afternoon, and going to a wedding, and the good part was Pineville is across the Red River in Alexandria. It's right across from Alec, I think it's Red River. And we showed up, and when you do go to a wedding in New Orleans, you usually have to give an expectation. If you're Catholic, this is going to be an hour, as opposed to the 5 or 10 minute wedding. Otherwise, but once the expectation set, that's cool. And then, we went to the wedding, so the ceremony was a little shorter, and then we walked into a cafeteria, and they had punch and finger sandwiches, and we were like, "Huh? What? What's going on? This is not a funeral. It's a wedding." Oh yeah. 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 Right. Uh-huh. Hey. Right. That was a good idea. Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's funny you said that. My brother was playing baseball at Auburn in 1983. In 1983, the Auburn played in the Sugar Bowl with Michigan. So he had about 20 of his friends, teammates, or whatever, you come to New Orleans for the first time. And they had most of Auburn was in the midst of the Bible Belt. And I remember taking them down on Bourbon Street and just being struck by their reaction, because they have never seen anything like that. And the fact that, they were just, it was fun to watch their expressions, because they said, "We can't believe this," especially when you walk past Big Daddy's and you see the legs swinging out the window. And it was a lot of times the first time they had consumed alcohol, and they had an allergic reaction to it. So for temporary. Yes. He's 2 years younger. Yeah. A tour guide. I was very versed at showing every nook and cranny of the French Quarter, and for better or for worse. Yes, yes. I was very versed. I was a very good tour guide, probably way too good of a tour guide. And but it was just interesting, and that's what that's what New Orleans has to offer. And I mean, it's just it's a wonderful experience. And sometimes you just in the French Quarter, and you'll see a second line go by for a wedding, and people just jump in. We go with them for a couple of blocks, and run up and congratulate the groom and bride, toast them, and go back to wherever they, whatever they were doing. So, well, that sounds like a wonderful time. It's a great. It goes by quick. That's the only thing I'd have to say. Well, yes, 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 yes. Well, yes, yes. Well, now, if you got 35 first cousins, you ought to be glad you're not paying for the rehearsal party. So that's good. That's good. That's the wedding party. All right, all right, all right. There you go. All right. Well, good deal. Good deal. Well, good deal. Yeah. So no, and you were saying that we're talking about New Orleans. I started watching the mayor in the first week. She's into it, man. I like the fact that she's very involved and very out front, very transparent, and very visible. So I give her kudos in the first week. So hope she. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it happened to the mayor before, the one in between. Oh, he was a no show. Well, yeah. Well, what Jindal did was, you know, you, it's Louisiana first when you're governor, or New Orleans first when you're mayor. And at times you're going to cross both. You're going to cross your own party, and you're going to cross the other, the opposing party. But you got to be Louisiana first or New Orleans first, and that's what Jindal maybe certain national policies may not have been best for Louisiana, but he was going to adopt them because to stay in the tribe. And really, what I'm looking for in a politician is someone who doesn't need to be in the tribe all the time and just look at each individual decision and make the best decision. And I don't care which tribe gets upset about the decision. So it's New Orleans first, and period, period. And the other thing too is, yeah, and it's and the other thing too, if you really want, you have political aspirations, and this is the thing that sort of missed me, even though I had no desire to be in politics, didn't like the fundraising part of it. We were in it for a little while, back 15, 20 years ago, working campaigns, and didn't really particularly like it. But if you had aspirations as a politician, if you do your job that you have right now, you have a better chance of advancing rather than trying to, manipulate your decisions based on, political affiliation and all that sort of thing. If you just did the best job, you probably would advance. And I think Jindal could have advanced if he just did a good job and kept his eye on the ball. But yeah, but anyway, so wish you good luck, and let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Today, catching NFL divisional round. Texans
That's a good one.
and the
That's
Bears.
okay. Earl.
Odyssey app. FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost every NFL playoff game day. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost every NFL playoff game day. And each game day during the divisional round, you find a pack load with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in and take your shot on the upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go after an even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com local and grab your profit boost NFL playoff game. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL and WWE. 21 plus in Texas and Louisiana. Permanent parishes only. Opt-in required.
Boost means more ways to level up your
Restrictions apply.
Pick the matchup you
Token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.
Pick the matchup you
You're ready to roll with the best throws in town from Nicaud Beads Factory. They've got beads, plush, light-ups, and all the must-have throws at unbeatable prices. Nicaud Beads Factory in Bridge City, right over the Weekly Lawn Bridge, and in Homer. Shop in-store or online at NicaudBeadsFactory.com. Stock up now and let the good times roll. Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense. Literally, focus on what you do well, like growing your business. And let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Visit us at ASC.com. I'm Before launched a new technology platform, Accounting Services Unlimited.
What's that?
What's that noise?
Feedback. Let's get it fixed. So it works, huh?
Yeah, isn't that weird? Is yours on?
Let me check.
Tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at repairclinic.com. Using a world-class website,
What book's that?
technology project, and
Do you read that one?
I don't know.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's
Oh, well, it's not on.
AmericanEagle.com 773-NETWORK.
Or is it on?
I don't think so. Yeah, it is. It is on. It actually is. It's working.
Stream all things legal and our podcast on Odyssey. Now on our radio app.
husband.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you weekend lawyers, all things legal. I'd be remiss not to mention Lane Kiffin is remaking the entire LSU roster from top to bottom. But this time last week, he didn't have any quarterbacks. Now he has 3. And so he is doing it. He is doing it. Little money, and being in the, I guess, what did they say? No publicity is bad publicity. So he's a master of the media. One thing I want to talk about today, for 18 years, we've been talking about laws and, what the law is, how they apply. But I think one thing is important is when you have a legal situation occurring and you have sort of a relationship, a situation with an attorney, or you're in a succession, or you're in a divorce, or you are a contractor and you're in a dispute, or you're a homeowner and you dispute with your contractor. All these are personal injury suit. Your relationship with your attorney it's like a relationship in the sense of you have to have the ability to communicate in a way that is information is exchanged in a very effective manner. And, a lot of times I find that clients get upset, especially clients who maybe had another attorney and they're looking for another one, is expectations aren't being set. And expectations as to what is, how does this process work? I had a friend of mine who his family member passed, and he was under the impression that he would go, to the attorney, sign a few papers, and those papers would transfer the estate, and that the court didn't need to be involved in that. He just needed to sign a few papers. And I think he was somewhat upset because he didn't know the process, and he was expecting that in 2 or 3 weeks after the family member had died, the estate would be settled. And what I had to walk him through is the process and say, look, the timelines for each stage, and say, okay, it might be 6 months, it might be 3 months, it might be 9 months, or whatever. And then once those expectations were set and he understood the process, he was a lot more settled. Because what happens is a lot of times anger comes from unmet expectations. And I'll give you a different scenario in a different profession. I know when I had a tooth pulled, the dentist was a young dentist. Actually, he went to St. Paul, Albert, and he said, "You'll be fine tomorrow. You'll be fine tomorrow. It's going to be, you go to work." And it continued to hurt for the next week. And then I really thought there was something wrong with me, and I thought there was an infection. I was all freaked out. And I talked to another dentist who was a client, and he said, "What happened?" I said, "Well, I had this type of procedure done. Dentist told me it would be ready, it would be fine the next day." And he goes, "What?" He says, No. He says, "You're going to have problems. You're going to have soreness for the next 7 to 14 days. And he sort of walked me through it. And I went from being very nervous and frustrated to it's okay, because that is normal, for that procedure. Now, I would say the same thing. A lot of clients have a lot of frustration with lawyers because the process has never been explained to them, and they have different ideas as to how the process is supposed to go. And then when those expectations aren't met, they get very upset with the lawyer. They get upset with the process. They get upset with the parties. They get upset with the judges. They get upset with everyone. And so I think one of the things is very important is to have the expectation set from the very beginning so that you understand what the process is, and your expectations, it'll probably go pretty much as planned.
Exactly. No, I agree. And I have a client who had another person sign a note and did not pay on the note. And, it's like, when can I get my payment?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, we have to file a lawsuit. We have the right to answer the lawsuit. We have the right to go through the discovery process. Now what I could do is after I file the suit and the answer's been filed, I can file something with the court to request cutoff date, meaning putting it on a track to where, okay, you've got to complete discovery by this date. You got to file all these motions by this date. And that way you get to a point where everybody now is on some sort of time frame to get this done. And then what we do, the lawyers, we do a conference call or actually we meet down in court with your calendar and say, okay, how many months do you need to complete discovery? And if you have experts, how much time do you need to retain an expert and get your expert report to the other side and propose the expert. So all of a sudden they have time frames, have timelines for getting all these things done. And that puts everyone on the track, and nothing makes the lawyer move like a deadline, right? And so there are ways to kind of get things moving, but at the same time, it's not, hey, let's file the suit and let's go get the money. And again, I'm having trouble explaining that process here. And again, I just think it's done, like you said, he's just unaware of how long it takes. And we sat down and I kind of explained it to him. He's a willing patient and wants to deal with it. One thing I tell my associates, I make it clear, guys, if somebody calls you, please call them back within 24 hours. You've got dozens of files, covered over files you have. At least 50% of your clients only file, right? This is what is foremost in their mind, what's going on in my lawsuit. I'm paying this rate, I want to know what's going on. And so from a customer service standpoint, right, a client relations standpoint, call them back right away and let them know. Now you have to keep them informed on the front end. So they're not calling, they know what's going on, and they have some sort of expectation as to what the next step is and how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
You always run into, issues, right? I had a client terminate me one time because the defense lawyer in the middle of it all ended up having a 3-level back. Because he was going to kind of be out of pocket for doing this part because he couldn't get around, he couldn't practice. It was before the days of Zoom and all these video conferences. And so, but really wasn't home like you can today. Well, that's what I'm not going to go be the bad guy, but go to judge. And judge, this guy has this back injury, and he's not doing any work. I want to push this thing to the judge can look at it like, where's your professionalism? Where's your professional courtesy that you're going to grant to this person? I want the same thing granted to me if I have an issue. So, anyway, so I get what you're saying about expectations, and if your list is taking too long, so
Well,
you gotta get to the point where you can come to court and do what you gotta do.
and I think in between calls, I sort of want to give specific examples of how expectations can be managed in different areas of law, whether it be a business dispute, a personal injury suit, or succession or family law dispute, and just give examples because I think once that's explained, it helps clients understand the process, and they just they're resigned. It is what it is. All right, Coleman, let's go to an early break. We got Earl on the line, and we'll take Earl after the commercial. He's got a question regarding a will. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
All things legal, live from our golf.
Hey man, you're killing it.
The bank that cares about you.
You're killing it.
Wwl shows you love and the local content you crave on the TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Odyssey apps. After a weekend of football, time to second guess. With the first quarterback to lead the Saints to the playoffs, Bobby Hebert. Join the Cajun Cannon, NFL analyst Mike Detillier for Second Guess. Mondays at 4 o'clock, live from the Silver Slipper, your host on the coast. Analyze Saints and NFL games like a pro. Second Guess with the two Cajuns, Bobby and Mike. Mondays, 4 p.m., till they get tired of talking, on WWL.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I could breathe again, my blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And you look great. Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis. Only $59.
Hypnosis really works. It's amazing. I can breathe again, my blood pressure went down, and I've got...
Thursday, January 29th, Vermont Airport in Metairie, or Saturday, January 31st, Hilton Garden in Covington. Register at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Hi, this is Sam Lee with Go Tax Resolution. Imagine if you could see the IRS's next move before they make it. Introducing the IRS Transcript Monitoring Service from Go Tax Resolution, your personal radar for tax trouble. Using state-of-the-art software enhanced with AI, you'll monitor IRS activity on your account 24/7. It's like credit monitoring on steroids, but for your taxes. Let Go Tax Resolution alert you to changes, actions, and potential threats, so you can stay protected, stay ahead, and stay in control. Whether it's a pending audit, a collection notice, or a new penalty, you'll know before it hits. With proactive alerts, expert analysis, and former IRS agents on your side. Know what's coming, be ready, be protected. To activate your IRS transcript monitoring, please call Go Tax Resolution at 985-722-1040 or visit GoTaxResolution.com. That's GEAUX, taxresolution.com.
Do what I did and finally take control of your weight for good with Chronos Body Health and Wellness. It's the region's premier medical weight loss program, ranked #1 by local physicians and by me, Tommy Tucker. Affordable, effective GLP-1 medications and programs for your body's unique needs from Chronos without a subscription. Go in weekly or use a virtual clinic. Either way, they'll help you achieve real, sustainable weight loss. Dr. Scott and his team are there to completely support you through your entire journey. Go to Chronos SilverSlippersBHW.com or call them today.
7 p.m. this Thursday, Silver Slipper turns up the excitement with progressive Silvers of cash. Every half hour from 4 to 6:30, you could win $100 in free slot play. And one winner will take home $20,000 cash or up to $500 in free slot play. Silver Slipper on the beach in Hancock County. Complete rules at silverslipper-us.com.
Income is the outcome that matters the most in retirement. We invite you to join us for the Retirement Roundtable with John Scallon, all powered by Cypress Financial, right here every weekend. Get more, including showtimes and the Retirement Roundtable podcast at cypressfinancial.net.
Helping your inner circle prepare for emergencies can start in many ways. Put together an emergency kit with Wwl. Create a family communication plan with Nicaud. Remind Vi to keep a backup battery charged. It all starts with a simple step. Telling those you care about.
Being negative about Sean Payton. This makes me like Sean Payton more. Because you're not supposed to, according to the world that we live in, fire back at reporters. Why not? Guy writes some crap about you, and I'll bet you this guy did. And you're not supposed to fight.
To attack downhill, is that your, like, what do you know about attacking downhill in the run game? You don't know. All right.
Brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19, we'll just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Back to All Things Legal with Sunseri and Nicaud. Stream WWL and the shows you love on Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. Or join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Man, Coleman's just killing it this morning with the music here. So good job, Coleman. Appreciate all you do. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Earl. He's got a question regarding a will. Hey, Earl, what you got for us, brother? He is. He does. He does.
If you want to direction and control
Big bastards.
going to handle your estate after your death, and you want to name and appoint that person, I would certainly go back and do that. And you know what that does is, the one thing you really want to do when you draft a will is make sure, to the best of your ability, while they're still alive, that your heirs are not going to fight over things, right? They may get along perfectly, but then, you know, when somebody passes away or close to them, a father, a mother, whatever, emotions just kind of run high, and you know, they all of a sudden take things out on the other siblings, or, oh, this sibling, you know, he wants to come in and take all the jewelry and the furniture and this and that. You know, so the more details, I guess, you can put in your will, you know, who's going to fight? You don't want them to fight over who's going to be your administrator of the will or executive. You want to have that one person appointed, and that way you go. I mean, you might not want to be a bad guy, and I have to tell people all the time, you know, you need to address this now. You know, and, well, I don't want them thinking, you know, that I skipped over this one. You know, you want them thinking, hey, this was mom's wishes or dad's wishes, and this, so we're going to carry it out this way, and they must have had a good reason to do so. An executor is someone named with a will, an administrator is someone who's obliged to support, to perform those functions, which is same function. And you can determine whether or not you want that person to take the bond. You can determine whether the compensation of that administrator or executive appointment. You know, so there's just things that you can do to make sure that that person is taken care of too, but going through all the struggle and the angst and arguments and the whatever else, they handle it with this. not local, then what they'll have to do is appoint someone to handle things here. If I through a power of attorney, handle things here in Louisiana, while and also accept services. Some creditor, let's say, wants to sue the state or give notice to the state of some sort of creditor claim. They have to appoint someone that's going to be that person for the state. So, typically people will just leave their appoint the oldest child because, you came out first, so you're it. But, you kind of want somebody, depending on how complicated it is, right? The lawyer will put help the person represent the executive in the state proceedings. You want somebody who's got some wherewithal, can do an accounting, knows where things are, and he's actually going to do it, not sit around on it, not too busy for it. So there are a lot of factors that
and probably also who has the best consensus among the rest of the heirs, because a lot of times if you have an heir who's got a grudge with another heir, they use the process to lord their authority over their sibling who they're upset with. So it's a combination of a lot of factors, but probably the peacemaker who has the most business sense is probably the best person to pick. Well, I think she's proximity. No. There's electronic.
So many things can be done over the internet, right? But if you are the executive of the estate in Louisiana, then you do have to appoint someone to handle those things in Louisiana in the event that you're unable to get here, and that way it's a logistics thing. It's a being that you are. Right. You would still be the person in charge with the final step. Correct. Okay. Hey, can I do something like that? Be able to leave there with a couple of offensive line.
Well, he's got the number one offensive tackle in the portal on campus today. So if he if he signs that sort of solidifies the offensive line, and he's got a bag of money to entice him to stay. So we'll see. He's got some kind of magic to him. He is doing it. So, all right, let's go. Thanks for the call, Earl. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley Devotion Injury Lawyers. Call 444-4444. That's 444-4444. Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS. I got behind my taxes. It's a horrible feeling. He was in denial. But when I got those letters from IRS, he wanted to act like it didn't exist. Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me. The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin. I felt like I was in a dream, and it's real. And I have paperwork to prove they got the job done. And life is good. For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now. Call 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788. Optima Tax Relief. That's local for national clients. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. It's carnival time, y'all. Make sure you're ready to roll with the best throws in town from Nicaud Beads Factory. They got beads, plush, light-ups, and all the must-have throws at unbeatable prices. Mardi Gras Beads Factory in Bridge City, right over the UEP Long Bridge, and in Houma. Shop in-store or online at MardiGrasBeadsFactory.com. Stock up now and let the good times roll.
Hi, this is Jim Hudson, Southeast Louisiana president of Robin Bank. A bank built by Louisiana people for Louisiana people. From Minden to Mandeville, from Bossier to the Bayou, and from the state capitol to the state fair. Together, we share values, celebrate traditions, and work toward a better future for the state we love. We're Robin Bank, a community bank born and built right here in Louisiana.
On the New Bank, built to be here. Member FDIC.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Ponte. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis, guaranteed, or your money back only $59.99. Hypnosis Thursday, January 29th, Ramada Airport, Metairie. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking. Hypnosis 8 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com. Also coming to Covington, Saturday, January 31st. REC delivers fiber-powered technology for your home and your business. Call or click today.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy place every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid for other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I used for my set. Shiny like this.
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it. Now everyone's asking. Ooh, where'd you get your
Windshield. eBay has all the posts that come up. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
millions of signs? Each with
We got how long we got? About. Okay. Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Give us a call at 260-1870 or text us at 260-1870. And if we get a good text, Coleman will let us know about it, and we'll address it. But we've got about a minute and a half.
I got a personal side tap from a buddy of mine who kind of, is so a little too involved in the LSU
Yes.
portal issue. But he said, we just got 4 O-linemen 2 days ago. What is Earl talking about?
We did. We got a couple one from Nickel State, one from I think North Carolina Central. We got one from Maryland who was a 2-year starter. But we haven't got the stud. And so we're looking at offensive tackle. That would solidify. But the O-line portal has been not like the wide receiver, nothing like the quarterback. So he's doing a little more fishing. God rested on the 7th day. Lane Kiffin is not. So he's working today. But so we'll see. It's not over, but he the portal I will tell you an interesting anecdote from an NIL perspective, a high school perspective after the break. But high school recruiting has now changed. And I'll give you a preview. The 3-stars aren't going to get a lot of attention like they did, the 3-star athletes, like they did before, because a lot of the colleges are going to be utilizing their, going after the portal people and letting them go somewhere else and develop and, let them put some skins on the wall. But let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. We're in year number 18. We're just starting it. We're going to national news. We're going to local news. We'll be back in about 10 minutes and all things legal for hour number 2. We're on till 10 o'clock. So we'll see you in about 10 minutes on all things legal. Stay tuned.
Sports leader, the Big 870, 105.3 WWL FM and WWL.com. The Big 870 AM WWL New Orleans, 105.3 WWL FM and HD1 Canada New Orleans, and Odyssey Station. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Stacey Lynn. It's time for our report card for the president. Jennifer DePinto is our deputy director of surveys with the latest findings of the new CBS poll.
1 year into this term, most Republicans feel President Trump has done more than expected. But 74% of Americans overall, including many of his supporters, say there still hasn't been enough focus on lowering prices. We've seen this sentiment for many months now. And it matters to Americans because prices are the top way they judge the overall economy, and 3 in 4 Americans continue to say their incomes aren't keeping up with inflation.
The poll also asked about the administration's immigration crackdown.
Opinions of the protests against ICE are viewed through a partisan lens. 8 in 10 Republicans feel the protesters' actions have gone too far, whereas most Democrats think those actions have been about right or not gone far enough. Views of independents are generally more closely aligned with those of Democrats.
Meanwhile, as protests continued in Minneapolis yesterday, CBS's Christian Benavides tells us
a U.S. defense official told CBS News 1,500 active duty soldiers are on standby in Alaska for possible deployment to Minneapolis. President Trump has said he is considering invoking the Insurrection Act, which gives him the authority to deploy armed forces domestically.
The president wants to take over Greenland and is threatening new tariffs for 8 European nations who oppose the plan. There's been a lot of pushback even from Republicans. Former Vice President Mike Pence told CNN he thinks the question right now is not what the president's trying to accomplish, but how.
I have concerns about using what I think is a questionable constitutional authority, imposing unilateral tariffs on NATO allies to achieve this objective.
It is the 80th anniversary of the UN General Assembly. Secretary General Antonio Guterres made remarks.
The world of 2026 is not the world of 1946. As global centers of power shift, we have the potential to build a future that is either more fair or more unstable.
You get a doubleheader of NFL playoff action today, and if you're heading to the game that's later on this evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern in Chicago, you need to bundle up. Temps there are expected to be around 2 degrees at kickoff. Is your tap water safe to drink? Research from the Stevens Institute found that while disinfecting drinking water is necessary to remove illness-carrying organisms, the chemicals used can sometimes react to organic compounds and become harmful. Still, more research needs to be done to make the average glass, though, is safe. This is CBS News.
Take control of your financial life. Follow and listen to Money Watch with Jill Schlesinger on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Happy New Year, Susan. I really appreciate you picking up the bill for lunch.
I'm happy to. One of my New Year's resolutions is being better with money. So I've started using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for buying gas.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I earn cash back just for buying the gas I was already buying.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'm like $200 to $300 this year.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play and start earning cash back on everyday gas purchases. Use promo code EVENT. for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents per gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EVENT for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code EVENT. Code EVENT. Offered vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
WWL First News, happy Sunday. I'm Courtney P. on your official weather station, WWL. Overnight, our forecast behaves without any wintry precipitation across southeast Louisiana, but the coldest air from yesterday's front has settled in, meaning we are waking up below the freezing mark north of the lake, and temperatures will continue to rise towards 50 degrees itself this afternoon. WWL TV meteorologist Rick Laser will be back with the forecast. Mayor Helena Moreno issued a public apology to the local DJ community. This comes after comments made by CAO Joe Geruso that some of the culture-bearing community found offensive, as it seemed to suggest they should work for free in light of the budget crisis. After swift backlash to such, Moreno took to her social media to apologize and said there was no offense meant by the comments, and that as a council person, she authored the ordinance that local musicians get paid for city-sponsored events. She went on to say the city is working on sponsorships to ensure local talent gets paid. Over the weekend, gunfire erupted inside the Dippy Chase restaurant. 19-year-old Kareem Harris was fleeing an assailant, ran into the restaurant, and the gunman followed, killing him and wounding 3 people who were visiting New Orleans. The Chase family is now speaking out after the tragic incident. Here's WWL TV's Winston Reed.
The Chase family released this statement saying, in part, as a family rooted in faith and community, we lift up in prayer all those impacted by this random and tragic incident.
The family has said the restaurant is closed until further notice. There is a $5,000 Crime Stoppers reward for any information that leads to an arrest.
This WWL Sports Update is brought to you by People's Health. 2 spots in the NFL's Conference Championship round are booked, and we have 2 more up for grabs today. The second half of the NFL's divisional round has a pair of exciting games. Starting in the AFC, the 2-seeded New England Patriots welcome the 5-seeded Houston Texans to Foxborough. Odyssey NFL insider Mark Schlereth explained what he's looking forward to watching the both match up.
How does Josh McDaniels call the offense? How does he take the off that offense? A lot of different opportunities to change up set. Because let me just tell you this, you get behind in this game, and you got Neil Hunter, who is probably the most underrated, undervalued defensive player in the National Football League off the one edge, you're going to lose. I'm sorry, but you're just not going to contain those guys.
Kickoff between the Texans and Patriots is at 2 p.m., and then we go to Chicago, where the NFC's team premiere. LA Rams hold their field at 5:30. Catch all the playoff action right here on the home of the NFL WWL. This NFL update is brought to you by the Spirit of First American, a banking tradition since 1910. After a hectic Friday, yesterday was less active for head coach Lane Kiffin and the Bayou Bengals. However, LSU did land a commitment from UCF running back Stacey Gage. It was also announced that the Tigers have a visit with the lead 5-star offensive tackle Jordan Teaton, a Colorado transfer, and the number 4 ranked player in the portal scheduled for today. Taking the World Portal updates on WWL. Hopping to basketball, tonight the Pelicans are back on the road for a test against the Houston Rockets. Tip-off is at 6 p.m. on the Big 870Am. Charlie Ball, WWL Sports.
Now, the Serve Pro Cleanup, Restoration, and Construction forecast on WWL.
Happy Sunday. After a quiet Saturday night, we are waking up to freezing conditions on the North Shore, south of the lake. A little warmer, but temperatures will only rise to 50 degrees this afternoon. Lots of sunshine. It will be beautiful all day Sunday. We're heading into Monday for Martin Luther King Day with another round of freezing concerns north of the lake and temperatures topping out a little warmer, closer to the 60-degree mark. As we approach your Tuesday morning, we'll rinse and repeat, so you'll need to be keeping the cold weather preps in place for at least the next 48 hours. A few spots still below the freezing mark on Wednesday morning as well. We'll warm up by Thursday, but that's when our next front approaches, bringing a rain chance with it. I'm Courtney P., WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Stevenson Law Firm and the Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Art Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-187B or connect anytime anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Here's Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back. Hour number 2. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal on Wwl 870Am, Odyssey.com. And Albert, a couple of things. One, Sean Payton, if he gets to the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback, that will cement him as a all-time great. And
Absolutely. And, you got to think he's got them prepared.
but
You would.
well, Bo Nix is out. He's got a broken ankle. Yeah.
I understand that, but I'm just saying you got to think he's got his players prepared, and he's got his backup prepared, and he did that here. Next guy up, right? Who's the next guy that's gonna come in and step up and play?
And if you're in the game long enough, like karma gets you in the sense either way, both ways. Like when the Saints beat Minnesota 16 years ago, we thought we were lucky in the sense Minnesota had 4 turnovers, and we won in overtime. We won the coin flip. Brett Favre could have ran 15 yards, ran out of bounds, and Minnesota kicks a field goal, and we win. Instead, he throws the ball across the field, and Tracy Porter picks it off, and the rest is history. Then we had the no call ball, the no call, which I'm actually looking at the no call ball itself in my study right now. And then last night, the refs helped Coach Payton because I think they missed some. I mean, refs miss calls, but it's just a matter, it happened at a crucial time, and if and it was Brandon Cooks, and if he retains the ball, Buffalo wins the game. So that was I think what comes around goes around if you stay around long enough. So he caught a break there, but I'm thinking, you always think, was Coach Payton great because of Drew Brees? Drew Brees great because of Coach Payton? It was both. Second thing, I was talking a little bit about NIL and how recruiting is going to change. What's going to happen, I think, and it's already happening, is a lot of the 4- and 5-star high school players who are going to start immediately or have the opportunity to play immediately will be recruited by the Power 4 conferences. But the 3-stars and 2-star athletes aren't being as heavily recruited as they were a couple of years ago because a lot of the Power 5 teams are not going to want to have spaces or open up a space for someone who is not ready to play. They're going to use the scholarships to, for the portal, or that's the trend. So like for example, almost 8 years ago, they had a little known wide receiver coming out of the River Parishes whose big brother played quarterback for LSU, and his name was Justin Jefferson. He was a 2-star recruit. And they saw a little something in him where he had some potential, but he still hadn't, he wasn't rated very high. And LSU took him on a flyer saying, okay, we're going to fill out our 25, 26 person freshman class. We'll take him. And he developed to be Justin Jefferson. And they figured, well, we'll take him. He'll have 2 or 3 years to develop him. We can work with him. And, and he developed faster than they thought he would. They anticipated. But those type of players aren't going to be recruited anymore by the Power 5 schools. I mean, it's just going to be different. I'm not saying it's worse, better or for worse, but those 2 and 3 star players are probably going to play at, mid majors or even, 1AA teams. And then I'm telling you,
I don't know that I mean, people have to fill their rosters, right? And so
with portal players.
One of the best things about the portal is that, Alabama of old does not have 5-star players
Sure.
on the kickoff team waiting to be a starter in 2 years till I play. It's like, no, I'm not playing kickoff team. I'm going to go find somebody that's going to pay me to go play somewhere else right now. And so there's going to be some holes in the roster where you get a Jordan Jefferson or where you get a 3-star, 4-star player that are they going to pay him a bunch of money? Are they going to, You got to fill your roster, right?
Well, but I think they're going to fill the roster with portal players. They're just going to get portal players from, like LSU signed a backup from Nichols because they saw that he had some potential and they thought they could work him in. But he's further along than he would be for a high school player. One of the things about Joe Burrow, which was fortunate for us, is Ohio State took a spot for him for 4 years, developed him, and then he came to us as a finished product. And so that's what I think is going to have to happen with a lot of these 2 and 3 star players who will develop during college. Because if you look at a roster, you're going to see some players who came in as the number 1 recruit who wash out, and then you have these 3-star, players who develop. In fact, Indiana in the national championship game against Miami, I don't think they have any 5-star players. Maybe one or two, but these are mostly 2 and 3 star players. So my only point being is the recruiting is going to be a little different. You're not going to have where a Power 5 team is going to put a lot of emphasis on getting someone who they think has potential, and let's sign him, let him develop for 3 years, and then maybe in his 4th year we can get him on the field. Those days are over for the most part. And I think as you said, they're going to replenish their roster with players, who are maybe mid-majors or 1AA players who got 2 or 3 years under the belt and have some experience and bring them in through the portal to replenish their roster. But it's a different deal. Things always change and people adapt, but it's just sort of an interesting change. Also, have you been keeping up with the Pelicans any? Yeah. And
They're losing games in the end. They're winning a couple here or there. They're not really getting blown out, so they're putting things together. There's some players that they really just need to get rid of. Jordan Poole is a black hole in terms of he gets the ball, dribbles for 15 seconds into the shot clock, and shoots a terrible shot. Now, can he get streaky hot? Yeah, if you throw him the ball, you're never going to get it back. I think he's got to go. There's a handful of other players that are. I just they don't belong on any roster, much less the Pelicans roster. And you look at the end of the game. Other teams have guys that
create
standing around. Yeah, and look, there's no ball movement. I don't know what that school of thought is. Where it came from Green or I just don't know what it is. But you got a guy. It's a 2-man game. They'll do a high-low thing, a high kick with a guard, or try to get Trey Murphy open, and they'll put Yves Missy in the corner, right? Well, he's not going to shoot a three. He barely shoots in the paint, and so you're wasting him. He's now further away from the basket to get a rebound, and he's standing in the corner. They did that with Jackson Hayes. Nobody's going to guard Jackson Hayes in the corner. They're not. I want you to shoot that three every time you come down the court because your chances of making it are 1 in 10. So they've got to have some more movement. I mean, you look at the teams that have been perennially good. That people are running, people are moving. They're setting kicks away from the basketball. They're taking, they're setting kicks on players without the ball, and so they can cut to the basket, roll back to the basket, and all these things. And I just don't see that movement, and I don't see. Again, on the other side, I think there's some really good spots. I think there's Fears getting to be.
So Fears and Queen, yeah, Fears and Queen, or you can build around them.
Like, why are they picking this Queen kid? He's got heavy feet. He doesn't look really athletic. Man,
He's a basketball player. He can play. So, all right, and then so and LSU LSU baseball 28 days away from I think it's 28 days, 27 days, 26 days to the start of the season. LSU basketball lost a heartbreaker against Kentucky. Did you see that? It's Christian Laettner all over again. But they did win yesterday. It is 100%. You're right. And then, they did win yesterday. They did beat Missouri, and they celebrated the 40-year anniversary of the '86 Final Four with Coach Dale Brown. So that was yes. And they,
Zoran came in, and Vukamirovic, he's in Baton Rouge. He didn't go Friday night, but he went Saturday. So they, it was fun. Ricky Blanton and all that crew, Derek Taylor. I played against Derek.
He was Redemptorist. I think he was Redemptorist in Baton Rouge.
He was 2 years in. He was a sophomore.
Yeah.
And, they beat the hell out of him. They were the high key part of the team.
Right.
And Derek was a sophomore. And, it was fun. It was a good time. They came to our gym, and we went to their gym, and they beat us pretty good those times.
Well, they had now they should have given Dragos, Tommy Stendanovic, in honor of the dad, some type of recognition because he was very. They had a lot of Croatians on the team at LSU. Coach Brown had a Croatian connection. Okay. Right.
He messed up his knee, and he was actually roommates with Tommy Stendanovic at the time. And he said, I had this big 7-footer laying on my couch. He said, I had to go get him stuff and everything else, but his knee was all messed up.
Yeah, there you go.
He was healing on the couch of my apartment.
So that's 30 years ago. 30 years ago. No, 40 years ago that happened. So all right. Well, let's go to an early break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, Weekend Lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
WWL wants you to know if you're having signal issues with 105.3 WWL FM, it's because your engineering team is making improvements to our tower. In the meantime, try the Big 870 WWL AM or the Odyssey app. And thanks for listening.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost every NFL playoff game day. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost every NFL playoff game day. And each game day during the divisional round, you find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in and take your shot at an upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permanent parishes only. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-7867.
My name is Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar and I have not smoked a cigarette since I left. My first friend came with me. They didn't want to smoke. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend, and none of them have smoked a cigarette. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
My name is Deb Carpenter. I went to a Mark Patrick seminar back in February 12, 2015 to stop smoking, and it worked. I'm coming up on 11 years. A friend of mine also went in October of 2015, and he no longer smokes. This is after, for myself, almost 30 years of smoking, and it was just amazing.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis, guaranteed only $59.99 or your money back. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all, or your money back. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. on Thursday, January 29th at Ramada Airport in Metairie, or 2 p.m. on Saturday, January 31st at the Hilton Garden Inn in Covington. Registration 30 minutes before. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Ponce. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
Work on the job, demand no demotion. As a working parent, your job never seems to end. You work hard to provide for your family. When you get home, another work day begins. When a parent is seriously hurt with the job, he can be overwhelmed. How will the bill get paid? Who's going to help carry the load? At Duffin Devotion, we're working parents ourselves. Believe me, we get it, and we're here for you now.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. It's the Odoo. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
It has to be hardwired to the
Make breakfast and flush away the night's rest.
Comrex unit.
Start the day off right. Nature-made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen.
The Comrex unit is super old and doesn't do wireless.
Magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been backed by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
My name is Whitney Allen. I'm a widow. My husband and I never thought in a million years we'd have to use such the unexpected happen. It's because it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and then get coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $30 million worth of coverage.
Get your free quote at
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, do that. Yeah. That'd be good.
It's legal on WWL and streaming live on the Odyssey, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio apps. To consult with Doug Sunseri or Albert Nicaud, call their office at 504-837-1304 or connect now on the Oakwood Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We've got Coleman, who is working tirelessly in the studio. He's got a text for us. What you have for us, Coleman?
Is it possible for two siblings to buy one out of another sibling's share of a trust? We own 100 properties. One sibling wants to sell the property and leave the remaining siblings with the property.
All right. Well, actually, in that particular case, if the property's in a trust, the chances are, first of all, you have to read the trust. and determine the terms and conditions. So we're going to presuppose or make some assumptions about the trust, but usually there's a trustee who is the quarterback of the trust who gets to make the call. And typically, unless there's instructions to the contrary, it's up to the trustee whether to keep the trust, keep the property in the trust or sell it. However, you do have to read the terms and conditions of the trust to determine whether there's any restrictions on the trustee from selling the trust for a period of time, or the circumstances he may or may not be able to sell it. So the first thing would be is to read the terms and conditions of the trust. The second thing is the trustee would be conferred power as to what the disposition or the alienation or the transfer of the trust assets or the conditions for it. So you'd have to read the trust document to determine what is the instructions to the trustee as to selling the property, alienate the property, or transferring the property. Then if there's nothing to the contrary that says or indicates that he has the discretion to do it, it's really up to the trustee, and the beneficiaries have very little say-so as to what would happen to the property in absence of terms and conditions of the trust stating otherwise.
Yeah, and again, people typically put their property in a trust because they want to control. I mean, unless it's for tax purposes or something like that, but otherwise they will typically do that because they want to control the assets in the trust for the beneficiaries, because for some reason or another they might think that the beneficiaries don't have the confidence or wherewithal to do it themselves. And so, the first inclination is the trustee is going to be that person that is, they can typically buy and sell assets within the trust, but those assets remain in the trust. So in terms of one sibling or two siblings buying out a third sibling, that might not be what the settler or the person forming the trust, that might not be what they wanted. They might have wanted that third person to be protected by the trust because they're financially irresponsible, or they have some sort of drug problem or abuse problem or whatever the case may be. So again, like Doug said, you'll have to look at the terms of the trust and see what authority that not only the trustee has to sell the property, but also the authority to make distributions to the beneficiary of the proceeds of that sale. So it all should be spelled out in there and in the trust. If it's not, you just refer back to the default provisions of the trust.
Now, being also too, if it's real estate, it depends on what type of real estate it is. If it's rental property, then you have some income to maintain the expenses of the trust. But sometimes you'll have a residence that's put in a trust and you have expenses. And if you don't have income to pay those expenses, then that becomes an issue. So, but basically what you do in a trust is you're governing from the grave, and you're setting, typically in a will, you will give a bequest to a heir or a child or a relative or a friend, and once they get it, they get to do whatever they want with it. If they want to take it down to the Treasure Chest Casino and try to double it, they have the right to do that. But the difference in a trust is there's going to be conditions attached to the enjoyment of that particular asset and or receiving that asset. And so after the person setting up the trust, which is called the settlor, or in other states the grantor, is gone. So basically, when you talk about trust, we always talk about whether you need a trust or not. In Louisiana, probate is pretty straightforward if you do it correctly with independent administration. We've been through that quite a bit. But also, too, you've got to when you set up a trust and you're going to be governing from the grave, you have to have some flexibility to deal with certain things in life that occur that may not be anticipated at the time of forming the trust. So, for example, somebody might have a family home that they want to keep in the family for 50 years and they don't want it sold. So they'll say the house is going to stay in a trust and it's not to be sold. And, you have issues regarding, well, that's nice. You keep it in the family, but then you have issues regarding, how is the residence going to be paid for? Or you might have issues if you have a hurricane, or you have some type of environmental issue that makes the asset, maybe not viable to maintain. So, when you do formulate these trusts, you do have to anticipate a lot of unanticipated circumstances that may affect, how it's going to be disposed in the future. Or, for example, if you have a trust where you're going to give a defined amount of money to a child for a period of time and say no matter what, they get X amount a year. But you might also want to build in some flexibility into that, saying, well, they get this defined amount, but if they have an illness or if they want to do an enhanced educational opportunity or they want to have certain conditions where you can say you could go beyond that particular amount if they fulfill these requirements. Or in most of our trusts, what we put in there is say, especially if the trust is going to stay in existence for an extended period of time, is you might want to even give the trustee the authority to terminate the trust if it's in his opinion that the person who is the beneficiary has the maturity to handle whatever's in the trust for the remainder of their life, or it would be for their benefit to get this asset now as opposed to being paid over time. So all I was saying is when you do formulate a trust, it's very important to talk about a lot of the what ifs that you don't think about when you have these ideas on, wanting to formulate a trust. And because if you don't have a lot of flexibility to them, sometimes it could cause litigation because the beneficiary is saying we got to get this out because this wasn't anticipated, or it doesn't fulfill its intended purpose because of a change of life circumstances. So that's part of.
We inherited a trust that was prepared by someone else, and there was better tax benefits that the assets could have been making, and so the trust didn't really authorize that, so we had to go file something with the court, and to allow the trustee to do that. The court was willing to do that, and it saved the trust on some federal taxes. Keep in mind, you'll have a trust which is irrevocable, which means that the settlor and cannot sell himself, cannot revoke it, right? And then you have a typically like a revocable trust where the settlor can revoke it, change the provisions of it. But quite often those trusts become irrevocable upon the death of the settlor. And so that kind of locks the trustee and the beneficiary in to whatever the provisions of the trust say, unless they're just really, I forget the term of art, but they're kind of onerous and unworkable or ambiguous, within the trust.
It can't be implemented. It's impossible to implement, as stated. Yeah.
So those are the issues you worry about with the trust. Now, the other thing, we do this all the time, guys. If it was just three siblings that owned a piece of property,
right,
and certainly you can buy the other sibling out, but if that sibling didn't want to sell the property, you do not have to be in business with that sibling or those siblings.
Right.
You have the right to file a partition.
Co-owned property. Mm-hmm.
The court will have the property sold, and so we do that pretty frequently with still living in the house, he's not paying the taxes, you know, let it deteriorate. We don't want to be in business with him anymore. We don't want to own property with him anymore. We're going to go ahead and partition and have it sold, and then everybody splits the money and goes their own separate way. So those actions are.
And a couple of years ago, they changed the law or modified the law to make partitions more get through the court system quicker, authorizing judges instead of having the property go to a sheriff's sale in case there's a dispute as to whether to sell it or not. Now the judge is empowered to appoint a real estate agent, go to private sale, and just get it through the court system quicker. But that's the co-owned property issues happening quite a bit because of either through successions or a series of successions. You might have had a piece of property that was owned, and you got a little bit of it from mom, you got a little bit of it from uncle, you got a little bit of from dad, and now we might have 6 or 7 owners, and you have 6 or 7 different opinions as to what to do with the property, and you saw it at a standstill. And so it's becoming more common to do that. But when you have I always tell people, if you have a partition case, I can promise you we will win. It will happen. You will not lose. There's no way you can lose this particular case because it is going to happen. It's just a matter of how and when. And also too, when the other other co-owners decide that, because when we file suit on a partition, we tell the other side at some point during the process it's going to happen. You might as well cooperate now rather than spending all these attorney's fees, bring it to court and getting the judge to do it. Tell us it's got to be sold. So there you go. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
This is WWL, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust.
No, what are they?
In the football, time to second guess. With the first quarterback to lead the Saints to the playoffs, Bobby Hebert. Join the Cajun Cannon, NFL analyst Mike Detillier for Second Guess. Mondays at 4 o'clock, live from the Silver Slipper, your host on the coast. Analyze Saints and NFL games like a pro. Second Guess with the two Cajuns, Bobby and Mike. Mondays, 4 p.m., till they get tired of talking. On W.
Oh, wow. Oh, Sam, is he on the phone about it? Yeah, you can tell him we'll talk about it. We don't know much about it. Yeah, just tell him. Yeah, we'll talk to Sam. He's a regular.
In an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family. Thank you.
Big Staples Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Big Staples Shower Max for steamy Big Staples. More comfort for yourself. This is correct.
The IRS is more aggressive than ever, and your tax problems won't disappear on their own. They're holding your life hostage, wrecking your credit, your peace of mind, and your future. Hi, I'm Danielle with Go Tax Resolution. We specialize in resolving delinquent tax issues and will help protect your bank account, your wages, and your assets. Don't wait another day. Don't bury your head in the sand. Regain your life. Call us at 985-722-1040 or visit us at gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
The IRS is ramping up collections, and that means more wage garnishment, bank levies, and aggressive action. Hi, I'm Caitlin with Go Tax Resolution. You owe back taxes? The time to act is now. Don't face the IRS alone. At Go Tax Resolution, we know how to protect your assets and your peace of mind. Call Go Tax Resolution at 985-722-1040 or visit gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Educating students since 1921, Delgado Community College offers programs in business, technology, health sciences, and the arts. Our career-focused degrees and certificates are affordable, flexible, and transferable. Whether you're starting your post-high school
No, yeah.
unstoppable. Learn more today.
Tremendous days this Saturday and Monday at Nicaud Furniture. Shop name brand furniture at low country prices. And for 2 tremendous days, it's on sale. Get extra cash discounts or interest-free financing up to 60 months. It includes custom design. Don't miss these 2 tremendous days this Saturday and Monday at Nicaud Furniture in Livingston.
Drive a little
Grab something is there. It's carnival time, y'all. Make sure you're ready to roll with the best throws in town from Mardi Gras Beads Factory. They've got beads, plush, light-ups, and all the must-have throws at unbeatable prices. Mardi Gras Beads Factory in Bridge City, right over the UEP Long Bridge, and in Homa. Shop in-store or online at MardiGrasBeadsFactory.com. Stock up now and let the good times roll. Today we're joined by Brent Salzman with Louisiana 811.
Hitting an underground utility line could result in utility outages for you or your neighborhood, costly repairs that you may be responsible for, fines from enforcement agencies, injuries, and sometimes even death.
What's the cost of contacting 811?
It's absolutely free. Utility companies pay for the program to protect their lines for sure, but also the environment and you.
What if I'm only digging a few inches under the ground?
Shallow digging is still digging. There are some utilities only buried just below the surface of the ground. Remember, 811 is free and is so long.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I want to know.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 475-2323.
LA 1679. Education and information to empower you to make the right financial decisions. Join us for the Retirement Roundtable with John Scallon every weekend. Get more, including showtimes and the Retirement Roundtable podcast at cypressfinancial.net.
Back to attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri on WWL. Stream all things legal and our time-shifted podcasts on Odyssey, TuneIn, and now on the iHeartRadio app. Or connect now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talking Text Line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Sam from the Best Bank in Gretna. What's up, Sam? There you go.
Anyway, I guess I'm looking for direction to go in, and I'm trying not to buy airtime with something that only pertains to me. This is universal. It's an Amazon membership scam that's been all over the news since last year. I got bit. I made the mistake of ordering something against my better judgment that I couldn't find it locally, a remote CD player. And then I'm checking my credit card bills, which I should have better. All right, and wait, I paid for this thing. And I realized, going back months, they're charging me a membership. And I didn't sign up for one. Now, in going back through my bills prior to that, now, this is the punchline. They've been docking my credit card 2 years prior, every month, to my first Amazon purchase. How did they get my credit card number? Now, where I need direction is last year, when I realized this scam, I had the FTC intervene on my behalf, and last year, not this year, the state attorney general, all right, and submitted complaints. They submitted that Amazon, one of the conditions was to restore these charges, which they only restored before I was aware of, and to vacate my information through their database. Looking at my statements, 6 charges December 1st. Now, number one thing to do would be to cancel my credit card. 2 major problems. since I've been a customer of credit card companies, 30+ years, I've had for years 13.99% interest. After years at 12.99. I'm not going to get that from anybody anywhere. And again, this is so you're aware of my medical situation with my neck. I've been out of work 8 years. If I get a credit card, it's going to be double that rate. That's if I get one. And because I've been a long-term customer, and with my house renovations, I have a credit limit of $12,500. Being out of work 8 years, I'm not getting that from anybody. So that's almost not an option.
Well,
how do I follow through more effectively with the Consumer Protection Division of the Attorney General? That absolutely blew me off. They said they don't investigate fraud, they don't investigate identity theft because they're too busy, using our tax money to play politics. How do I effectively navigate, the FTC again? Because obviously these criminals disregarded FTC instructions and started searching my account.
I got two pieces of advice. Okay, and this is sort of first advice on your credit card. You can call most credit card companies and they'll tell you to block charges from certain vendors. So you got that blocked. The second thing you could do is, well, no, that's what you got to get with your credit card on that because they will. There's, all right. Well, that's on them because that's part of the. I mean, we've done that. That works. Number two, and it's a little more unconventional. I would go to. I'd call Steve Scalise's office, or I'd call Cassidy or John Kennedy and get an aid. And I mean, they're very good about doing that. We had a lot of success with Garrett Graves in Baton Rouge when they had the 2016 Baton Rouge flood, and with SBA loans. A lot of people had problems with the SBA loans trying to get their, checks back or not being required to pay the entire loan back when they got insurance proceeds and working something out. A lot of times, if you called their office and you gave them the information, you give them the information in a way that's easily digestible, they'll make some calls and they will put a little pressure. So that's one, that is one scenario. And the other thing too, if it's less than $5,000, you can go to small claims court. And and address it that way. If it's less than $5,000, it'll go to justice of the peace. So there's a few options, but I go back to your credit card because they're supposed to, when you tell them to not bring charges in or block charges, you're supposed to do that. So I mean, those are three options. But I think the underutilized option is when you have these type of case issues, and maybe like if the FTC is involved or something like that. A lot of times, like with SBA, they'll get a call from a congressman's office, and it's sort of they sort of pay attention, say okay, and the aide will call back in 2 weeks and say where are we on this particular issue, and you do get some type of movement. So if you do that, I would just sort of get the name of the aide. That's why they're there to help solve these type of problems. And sort of stay in contact with them, be polite, be respectful to them, and and if they will help you on those type of issues. All right. Well, Sam, the man, it's good to hear from you. We got to go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back. This brief time out.
Get ready, Louisiana. Here comes the Frenzy Scratch-Offs from the lottery. Scratch your way to some cash with $50 Frenzy, loaded with $50 prizes. Turn up the volume and pick up $100 Frenzy. Win up to 10 times, loaded with $100 prizes. Go full throttle and play $500 Frenzy, Win up to 15 times. Loaded with $500 prizes. Big scratch, big attitude, big cash. Get into extreme mode and play $500,000 extreme cash. Win up to 20 times. Top prize is a whopping $500,000. Turn up the frenzy, crank up the cash, and play all 4 games today from the lottery. Louisiana Lottery, celebrating 35 years of reasons to smile. Must be at least 21 to purchase.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788. Optima Tax Relief. So for the details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like building your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Bonson. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at ASU-LLC.com.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis. Only $59.99 guaranteed, or your money back. Hypnosis Thursday, January 29th. Ramada Airport in Metairie. Los Hypnosis 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com. Also coming to Hilton Garden Inn, Covington, Saturday, January 31st.
MLR. You know who we are. Moving and construction experts. MLRbuildersllc.com.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment?
Okay, gotcha.
Get rid of your timeshare once and for all. Simply call us, and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options.
All right, gotcha.
823-5544. That's 800-823-5544. 800-823-5544.
Hey, we're back. I saw the sense that Coleman's hot-blooded. He's been talking about the cold for the last 2 hours, man. You're a warm weather guy, huh, Coleman? You're tropical, huh? You like that closer to the equator, the better. I get it. What's that? There you go. Well, remember your birthday last year was somewhat cold, right? They had about a foot of snow, huh? So there you go. All right, Coleman, you're doing a great job. We appreciate it. All right, Albert, got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to go. What you got? You got anything to leave us with? Any wisdom? No wisdom. Well, you can get wisdom. It just costs you a couple $100 an hour during the week. That's all.
Everybody have a great year. It's our 18th year doing this. We're happy to get up at Sunday morning. I must say, I'm thrilled to not have to drive down to the studio.
Oh, yes.
There are a lot of hours to do this from our living room. And so
Yeah. Well, I used to pick you up because you were just coming in from the night before when I would pick you up. So you know, you had those all-nighters there, and you know, you sort of just cleaned up a little bit and got in the car and we went, and you were going to take a nap after. So no, it's a yeah. Well, that's what I tell Katie, our daughter. I said when I see her in the weekends, I say, well, I'll see work dad will be there tomorrow. He's not going to be very he's going to be working. So that's right. I tell us everybody else got to get paid before we get paid. Oh, there you go. Well, you know, I'll say this real quick. When I go to court, half the lawyers are still older than us, or I'd say maybe 40% of them. So we're right in the sweet spot right now. So there you go. All right, so we'll see you next week on All Things Legal. Stay tuned on WWL. You got some great playoff action. So we'll see who's going to be in the Super Bowl. I'm picking that's right. I'm picking the Rams and the Texans for the day. All right, so we'll see you next week on All Things Legal. Have a wonderful week, and God bless. Thanks, Coleman. You have a great week.
The following program was previously recorded